we aren't doing it. We can't do it. And at this point, if they want me to, I'll be more than happy to put the keys on the counter and leave them an invoice for the business, and they can write me a check for it.
Tonight, with tighter COVID-19 restrictions looming, one East County restaurant owner says enough is enough.
Plus, on this Veterans Day, COVID-19 nearly derails a traditional tribute in the North County.
And it means a lot to me to have him honored because he was a really special part of our lives.
The neighborhood effort that ensured the fallen would be honored.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
Desperate and defiant, restaurants fighting to survive amid the pandemic say they're being kicked while they're down. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. For some, closing their indoor dining rooms as we head into winter may be the straw that breaks the camel's back. And tonight, our ABC 10 News reporter John Horn spoke to one restaurant owner who is putting his foot down.
2020 has been a roller coaster year for San Diego County restaurants. First, they could serve just takeout only. Eventually, that moved to 25% capacity indoors. On Saturday, that goes back to only outdoor dining, and that comes at a time that eating outside can be very uninviting.
This morning, we were at 34 degrees.
Larry McNamer says that's just not going to cut it for his Pine Valley diner, which only serves breakfast and lunch. So the news that he'd only be able to serve outdoors starting Saturday was the last straw.
We are over it. We can't do any more going backwards. We can't. Not and stay open and be a viable part of the community.
Larry and his wife Debbie have owned Major's Diner for 15 years. 2020 has been the most challenging, with sales down and the staff cut in half. Come Saturday, they'll still serve inside despite the county order to stop amid increased spread of the coronavirus.
You do what you got to do. I got to do what I got to do, and I know you got to do the same thing.
McNamer says he takes the coronavirus very seriously, but also takes issue with how health officials are treating businesses who install social distancing measures versus, say, college students who are partying. And if his decision means fines, he says bring them on.
Wonderful. Where are you going to get it?
Yeah,
you could find me $100,000 a day, and it's not going to do you any good because you're not going to get the money.
Or he'd give them this option.
I'll be more than happy to put the keys on the counter and leave them an invoice for the business, and they can write me a check for it.
John Horn, ABC 10 News.
The state says COVID-19 does remain a significant concern with cases ticking upward. It says that Californians must do more, but understands this is hard and that many feel exhausted, isolated, or impatient.
And some San Diego County businesses are fighting back with legal action. Several have already filed suit against the county and the state, and more are considering it. Pacers and Cheetahs, both adult entertainment clubs, were recently granted restraining orders to stay open. Another suit on behalf of local gyms has been filed, but there's no decision yet. County Supervisor Kristen Gaspar says these lawsuits could inspire others.
You could make the case as a restaurant owner, you can make the case as a gym owner that our data does not support this decision to close down, and closing down will create undue financial harm to these businesses. It has already.
Supervisor Gaspar says at this time she does not believe the county is planning to sue the state over the restrictions.
San Diego's houses of worship must also stop holding indoor services by Saturday. As our ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala shows us, some are adapting while others plan to defy those orders.
Once again, churches, synagogues, mosques, and other places of worship must move operations outside after San Diego County fell back into the purple tier. During the last round of closures, the county's public health officer sent cease and desist letters to those who did not comply. Yet some still say they have no plans to shut their doors. Skyline Church posted a lengthy statement on its website saying in part, regardless of what tier the governor assigns to San Diego County, our board, trustees, and staff all agreed that it is necessary to remain open for the overall health and well-being of our communities. Many religious leaders have argued that religious services are essential, important for mental health reasons, and should be allowed to remain open. Some even took the issue to court, but others say the health and safety of congregants must be taken seriously.
We want to comply with the state and health department.
Father Michael Pham is a pastor at Good Shepherd Parish in Mira Mesa. This was the site at the church this Veterans Day, people gathering outside for a special mass.
We want to protect the people and the safety of the people. Health is important.
The church will stop offering indoor services come Saturday, but will continue mass outside and online.
It's a challenge, but people seem to adapt very, very well.
Pham says they have no plans of defying the orders and will only reopen once allowed.
People are really conscientious about what they need to do, and that's just important, and that's the reality that we live in right now.
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
Under the latest health orders, all houses of worship will have to stop offering services inside by 12 a.m. Saturday morning. County health officials have asked law enforcement agencies to try and step up enforcement efforts. After mulling it over, the San Diego Air and Space Museum says it will close in accordance with the tighter restrictions on Saturday. The president of the museum had previously told ABC 10 News he wasn't sure if they would close. He called it a complicated decision, but pointed out the safety precautions they've been taking, and they believe that museums to be less risky than other businesses.
What's happening is extremely unreasonable. The real leaders, in our community should be standing up. They should be saying no.
County officials say that they're hoping for compliance and understanding come Saturday, but don't want to resort to heavy-handed enforcement.
Well, Georgia is officially going to recount ballots in the state. Joe Biden is currently leading President Trump by about 14,000 votes at this point. Today, Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger said it's too close to call.
With the margin being so close, it will require a full by-hand recount in each county. This will help build confidence. It will be an audit, a recount, and a recanvass all at once. It will be a heavy lift, but we will work with the counties to get this done in time for our state certification.
The state's deadline to certify election results is November 20th. The recount announcement comes in the midst of an intensifying battle in Georgia for 2 U.S. Senate seats. The Republicans in both of those races called for Raffensperger to step down on Monday. And joining us again to go over today's developments in the 2020 election is litigator and law professor Craig Barkis from the University of San Diego. Thank you again for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
Well, Georgia has just 9 days before the deadline to certify these results. It's hand count. We just heard that. We can't foresee what issues may arise. Is there legal language in the event that the votes are not counted by the 20th?
Actually, federal law requires the states to resolve all disputes by December 8th. So I think that federal law is anticipating sometimes there might be disputes that might go beyond state deadlines. So if that's the case, Georgia would have some margin to certify its ballots.
This recount is automatic by state law. Can the president ask for his own separate recount after that?
Yes, but there's a distinction here. What's taking place now is a recount and an audit. Before votes can be certified in Georgia, they have to be audited. Now, normally that's done by sampling the ballots. Because this one's so close, the Secretary of State has decided that they will have this hand recount. Now, should it come out to less than a half a point difference after this process, and it's still, President Trump would want a recount, he could ask for one, and he would probably get one, but that one would not be done by hand, most likely. That one would probably be done by machine.
Let's shift to a possible transition. What laws are in place to make sure that during the time the lawsuits are being adjudicated, the projected winner, in this case Biden, is getting intelligence briefings so that if he is the eventual winner, he is ready for the national security transition?
That's a great question, and theoretically that really should be underway, but the GSA is supposed to provide a letter authorizing the apparent winner of the election to proceed with the transition process. Right now, that has not been forthcoming. If that doesn't happen in the near future, what the Biden camp could potentially do is go to federal court and request a court order for the transition to take place formally. I hope it doesn't come to that, and I think my expectation is that before too long we'll get that letter from the GSA.
All right, new developments every day. We continue to watch them. We appreciate your time. Craig Barkas, thank you for joining us.